That's not how you get a championship match.
Father and son.
You think you're ready for a Chem Valley Wrestling Championship match? Next show, it's going to be Tyson Dukes against Chem Valley Wrestling Champion Cody Diener. And it's going to be Ethan Dukes and me taking on you in an Extreme Rules match.
Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome back for another episode of the Chem Valley Show. This is episode number 6, lockdown day number 7, I guess, but this was recorded on day number 6. So trying to keep a steady rotation of dropping something every single day. And joining me, I guess, tonight, as you'll be seeing this on the 1st, Brian White will be joining me on the Chem Valley Show. As you've seen there, getting slammed through a door at Chem Valley Wrestling's only show this year, which I think is where I'm going to start things off with doing a little bit of a year in review. And then I'm just going to give a couple goals for 2021. I'm not going to put too many out there, though, just because who knows where we're going to be and where things will go. So I don't want to put the expectations too high and then upset myself like I did last year. We're just going to give you some insight on what I'm hoping for in 2021. So let's start things off with talking about that show that you just seen there, some footage. That was our first show of the year. It was on January 10th at the River City Vineyard. The show was called Scratch That. We did it for actually one of our helpers, a very good friend of mine, Kyle Bruner. He has eczema, and he brought it to my attention that he wants to do a show and bring some awareness to it. And we named a show after it, and we didn't do as much as we wanted to for it in terms of like raising money and doing some fundraisers. But in the future, we're definitely going to look at avenues at continuing that themed of a show and do something else. But yeah, let's start talking about this show. This show was actually the first show where I kind of had to put my thinking cap on and figure something out on the fly. Cause it was only my second show promoting on my own. My first show was back in October. And I had done a bunch of other wrestling shows in Sarnia, which I brought here, but through other wrestling promotions. I worked with Destiny Wrestling and Smash Wrestling, which in my opinion, are two of the biggest wrestling promotions in Canada. So I'm very honored and privileged to have had that opportunity and learn from both George and Sebastian in the ways that I did. And I'm going to be forever grateful for that. And I think that's really what's attributed to Chem Valley Wrestling being so well received here in Sarnia. And I do appreciate all the support we've gotten so far. And things were going so good. We had a team in place. We were doing meetings here in Sarnia, and it's really unfortunate, obviously, that we weren't able to do our next event that was planned. And I had a really crazy year planned for Chem Valley Wrestling. Actually, I think I had I want to say 5 events planned, and there was more that were like in the works, working with other companies in Sarnia that wanted to come here, because that's what I was all about, is collaboration. And I think I've seen a lot of other promotions doing that throughout the lockdown and it working so well. So I think that's really important in the wrestling business, and I learned that along the way. Working with others is definitely very beneficial. But anyways, let's talk a little bit about this show. How I was saying, I had to do something on the fly. Our first match actually of the night, somebody couldn't make it. It was Hyena Hagen. He had a family situation where he couldn't make it to the show, and so luckily Death Threat Army, who was wrestling the tag team, the newly crowned Chem Valley tag team champions later on that night, Fight or Flight, they showed up with Jack Price, which was super lucky, because obviously we needed to fill a spot in the tag match, and both those guys are from Michigan, and it worked out really well. But behind my back, obviously, Death Threat Army and Jack had other ideas, and they ended the match in a no contest, and that's kind of the way things started off for the night. It was a really fun show. We had a 6-way contract on a pole match, which was the first time that's ever been done in Sarnia. That was an insane match. El Reverso ended up winning, but it was definitely controversial. Here's a picture from it, actually. That's one of my favorite pictures, I think, of all time in Chem Valley Wrestling. It was like a 6-person pyramid. Yeah, that was a really good match that night. Another really good match we had was Electric Ely, who was someone who wrestled here for the first time on my first show. And my good friend, I got to give a shout out to him. And if you haven't, check out his YouTube page, Wrestling Rage. Cody Fleming over in Port Huron. He puts out some great content. He's got Michigan Independent Wrestling and a lot of other cool things he's doing over there for all of the independent wrestlers. I know he's really loved, and he's actually somebody who put me in touch with Death Threat Army to get them back over here for Chem Valley Wrestling show. So anyways, Electric Ely was somebody who he put in my direction, and he put on a hell of a performance his first time here against El Reverso. Him and El Reverso were the first match of the night for the first ever Chem Valley Wrestling show, and those guys tore the roof off the house. And it was great to see. It's great to see when a guy comes out and takes his glasses off, gives them to a fan, gives an armband to a fan, because kids are going to remember that forever. And I still have the person who he did that to come up to me and tell me how appreciative he was of that and how much he'll remember it forever. It's actually my nephew, Jace. He had a lot of fun. That was actually his first ever wrestling event too. So that was something he'll remember forever. Electric Ely and Tyson Dukes. Anyways, as I was talking about that match, you can check it out on YouTube. I believe it's there. It was a great match. Tyson Dukes won. Incredible bout. I believe it was about 25 minutes, and I think Tyson really kicked Electric Ely's ass all over the building. But he definitely, I think he gained some experience from it. Wrestling someone like Tyson Dukes, you're definitely going to do that. And yeah, that was one of the many very good matches that night. Here's one here. Stone Rockwell, Jimbo Jones, Alexia Nicole, and CC Galaviz was also a very good match. I'm probably botching that name, and I apologize, but CC and Alexia were an incredible match. I don't have the match graphic here for some reason. It's my problem. But it was a really good match, and that was one that stood out to me that night for sure. Because, women's wrestling isn't something that we've gotten a lot here in Sarnia, and I was really trying to bring it in more and have more matches, and I was really excited to get her down here and continue to try and build that women's wrestling here in Sarnia. But moving on, we had obviously the Chem Valley Wrestling Tag Team Championship match, Death Threat Army, Fight or Flight. That was a great match. Fight or Flight won the match actually, but there was a rematch that was scheduled to happen at our next show, which was named after them actually. don't trust anybody. Yeah, they were supposed to have a match with Jody Threat as their tag team partner in a triple threat tag match against Fight or Flight and Alexia Nicole. And I think that would have been an absolutely incredible match if it were to happen. And I hope it can happen in the future because, yeah, that was one that I was really looking forward to on the next card, which would have been, as you see there, May 15th. But yeah, unfortunately, times are tough and we didn't get there. Jimbo Jones, Stone Rockwell, that was another really good one. Jimbo Jones improved his record to 2-0 in Sarnia, I believe, that night. He's on a bit of a roll. And the next show, actually, that one that I just showed you, he was set to have probably one of the best matches I think I've ever booked in the history of my time being a booker. It was going to be a fatal four-way match with Jock Sampson, Pretty Ricky, Puff, and Jimbo Jones. I really wish it happened because I think it would have been super entertaining, and all four of those guys in the ring at once, like, who knows what could have happened. But unfortunately, one we're going to have to wait for the future, of course. And yeah, hopefully, speaking of that, hopefully we can get back to doing some shows here in 2021. There's no certainty, obviously. I've had the idea of doing like an online show or something, but that's really tough, obviously, as well, because it obviously costs money to bring a show like this to Sarnia. This was our last show that we did in January, which is also another bummer because look at that crowd, man. It was standing room only. This was a picture I got from Cody Diener, the champion that night, and a night that I'll never forget. The support from Sarnia for Chem Valley Wrestling has been absolutely amazing. And it's something in 2020, I think, that really kept me motivated to stay positive and not be negative, because I know that once things do get back to normal, Chem Valley Wrestling will be right back where we were, and probably in an even better position because people are going to be hungry for wrestling. And yeah, hopefully, like I said, we can get back to doing that here in 2021. But I have no expectations, to be honest with you, and I have nothing planned other than rescheduling. I've just tried to keep rescheduling the show that we had booked to kind of keep people excited. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing at this point, just because now it's kind of looking like who knows when we'll be able to have a show. But and it's really unfortunate. Trust me, I'm not happy about it, but I try to keep my opinions on that off screen as well. But yeah, we'll just keep at it and stay positive. I think some really positive things that came from that show is it was kind of my first experience with getting involved with wrestling since I started putting on shows here in Sarnia. And obviously getting to put Counselor Brian White through a table or a door is something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And the way we did it, which we're going to talk about tonight on the show and how all that came to fruition. But yeah, I obviously, as you heard in that video, I was supposed to wrestle for the first time. So and I wasn't just going to go in there with no experience. So what I did was I saved up some money, ponied up the $500, which it cost to go to Tyson Dukes' wrestling school as a registration for your first month. Just obviously for your shorts, insurance and all that and everything that it includes to go to wrestling school. So that was my first month, and it was $200 every month following that, just for anybody out there interested in going to wrestling school, because I know I have had a lot of people in Sarnia ask about how they can get involved either in the ring or outside the ring. But definitely, if you're interested in getting involved in wrestling inside the ring, I suggest going to Tyson Dukes' wrestling school, because without a doubt, he's one of the best out there is in terms of teaching. And there's no one better in my mind in Canada, or the world rather, to learn from. And I'm honored to have had the opportunity to go down there. Actually, the story behind it all was that show happened. So I talked to Tyson that night and said, I'm going to have to come down and start taking bumps and learning the inside the ropes of this business, because obviously I had only been learning about promoting and that side of the business. So I was really excited to get in there, and I think it was February that I had the first opportunity to start going down with Brian White. I was working a job at the time, which luckily, well, I shouldn't say luckily, because a month later I was laid off from, or fired. I say fired, but this is me and my buddy actually on the day that we got let go. It was like a company-wide restructure, and they called it like a layoff, which kind of worked out good for me in terms of EI and everything. But other than that, I was pretty mad about that because I was using that job. I was working with a bunch of people from London. They were driving down each day. It was like I want to say like a hiring agency that comes down every day. And luckily I made friends with them since I was one of the leads at my job. And I had a really good relationship with them. And luckily I worked it out to be able to get rides with them on the way home every day. So I was working a 12-hour shift. I think I was working 5:30 to 5:30, I think, every day. Or that's not right. I think it was 6:30 to 5 every day with an hour lunch or whatever. So I was doing that, and I would go from my work and I'd go straight to Tyson Dukes' wrestling school. And that's just how bad I wanted it. Like I remember obviously a few months before all the pandemic stuff happened, I was reaching out to my aunt and trying to find a place to stay in London. I don't know if it was going to be full-time, but at least for the week, so I could go down and actually I was seriously interested in becoming a professional wrestler. And I think it would have been a great asset to Chem Valley Wrestling. And obviously, if I learned all that and got the green light from Tyson, I could start working with other promotions and networking, which is something that I love doing. So it's really it's a shame that it came to an end when it did. Actually, I know Tyson was on a tour in the UK, I want to say, when all this happened. So I obviously wasn't even going to the school when coronavirus happened, just because Tyson wasn't going to be there. But yeah, I really enjoyed my experience there. I suggest it to anybody if they can ever figure out a way to get there every day, because it's an unbelievable experience. And just all the people that I met there, obviously some of the guys in this picture, Kyle Boone, Alec Realm, Michael Grayson, Frankie War. Those are guys that I learned a lot of stuff from, and I'm super thankful for it. And it's guys who I'm looking forward to working with the rest of my life in this industry. And I think making those connections at Tyson's were super important for me. And obviously before things went sour with me and Brian White, he was the one who put me in that direction and kind of introduced me to all those guys. So I'm super thankful for that. I got to go see a few of their shows throughout the year. Midwestern Wrestling, Smash Wrestling. Where else did I see a show? Border Town Wrestling. It was all amazing. And yeah, I can't thank Tyson for the experience enough. Like it was one of the most incredible things I've ever been a part of. And I hope I can get back to it as soon as things open up. I know they did open up for a bit. I can't remember when it was, but I just never I never got around to going back, which was unfortunate. I should have for the month that they were going, but I didn't get around to it, unfortunately. Some other really good things that happened in 2020. I signed with the Imperials again. Unfortunately, obviously, the season didn't happen and pan out. This was like literally the day that we went on lockdown. This picture happened. I want to say like we were practicing at BMO Field in London, and everyone was saying like, we're going into lockdown tonight. Like I was like, yeah, right. And lo and behold, yeah, our season got kiboshed about a month later, and who would have thought things went where they did? And I think that was kind of my mindset through all of this, because like I didn't know what was going on and what was going to happen. And I think that kind of led to my decision in the midst of all the coronavirus. And I think throughout the summer, I had some, it was before the summer even, I think I was starting to have thoughts. I think it led to my decision of going to school, which is something else that I did in 2020, which is I'm very proud of. And I'm happy with the decision, actually, because again, I've made a lot of really good connections. I reconnected with people. Like one of my teachers, I bat boyed when I was a kid. What are the chances of that? I bat boyed the Braves all the way growing up, I want to say, until I kind of got too old for it. But yeah, I've just made a lot of really good connections and learned actually a lot that I honestly didn't think I was going to learn as much as I did just in the first semester alone. And for that, I'm extremely thankful. I'm a student here in Sarnia at Lambton College for the sports management program. I had a graphic here, but for some reason it doesn't want to come up on my screen, which is fine. But if anybody's interested in going to school for sports or anything in that industry, in that category, I would definitely suggest checking out the program at Lambton Sports and Recreation Management. I think I really grew a bigger appreciation and love for mixed martial arts in 2020 in the UFC. I watched a lot of UFC, obviously starting off with this one in January last year, and I can't even believe that was in 2020. That's how long the year kind of dragged on. This one was kind of right before the lockdown, and I think, in my opinion, was the fight of the year. This was one that blew my mind as being a sports fan. Just the whole Fight Island concept and how they brought that together. And Dana White just he brought a bad situation into a into a better situation, I should say. And what he's done with Fight Island is absolutely incredible. And I think it's really driven a lot of those athletes to like want to be better and want to compete as much as they can, because now you're seeing guys who are fighting like 2 weeks after they fought, and it's quite incredible. And I think that's another reason why I'm loving it again, because I kind of fell off the wagon there for a few years. Like I watched back in the day the Ultimate Fighters with Diego Sanchez, Josh Koscheck, who else was that? Chris Lieben. Like that was my favorite. Those times in MMA were my favorite, and I obviously just need to get educated and watch a lot more, which I have been, and learning the history of MMA and UFC and looking at other organizations and reaching out to people. And that's something obviously in 2021 I want to do, is make more connections in that field and hopefully get some really cool interviews. As you know, I have one lined up with Darren the Dentist Stewart in 2021, which I can't wait for that. That's going to be super cool, and hopefully add a bunch more. Like just everything the UFC's done, it's really excited me. And obviously getting the opportunity to interview Ariel Helwani, that was icing on the cake for me in 2020, I'm going to say, because it was already a pretty good year. I didn't let things get me down at all. I tried to stay, like I said, I tried to stay positive throughout everything. I'm usually a pretty positive guy as it is, but the Ariel Helwani interview, I'm hoping that one day I can, I'm hoping like once I get enough content out here, like even after this 28 days, I can be like, hey, Ariel, look at this. I've 28 days and I did 28 straight interviews because I was on a lockdown. And I'm hoping to just show him like, yeah, I took your advice and I'm going to try and run with it, because I really enjoy broadcasting or radio or really anything. I know I don't have much of a face for a camera, but I've really been enjoying reconnecting with people and hearing people's stories through this show already. Like I've already had on 5 great guests, some that are friends and some that I just met through obviously networking, which is really great, because it's cool to see that I can make all these contacts and where where the possibilities for this show is. They're really endless, and I'm excited for that in 2021. Another really good thing I should mention before wrapping up like my year in review thing. I got one of my, without a doubt, my favorite job of all time. I've worked a lot of really cool places. I worked at the Station Music Hall here in Sarnia. This summer I played a lot of golf, like a lot of golf. Like I'm talking like 3 to 4 times a week. I don't even know how I could afford it. But yeah, that was one of me hitting it at least 300, right? Of course, that's what everybody says. But no, I played a lot of golf, and I really fell in love with the game this summer. And luckily, just in the right place at the right time. I actually had seen a lot of advertising for it. Actually, my friend Woodrow James was posting a lot, advertising it. It was a place called Sticks and Stones Indoor Golf, and I never heard of it. I was kind of interested because obviously being in sports and rec, or going to be in sports and rec, leading. I believe I found out about it in August. I wanted to find out about this place and see what it was all about, because maybe it was a possibility for me to, who knows, maybe do an internship or a co-op down the road. So I checked it out, and I want to say it was like, I'm really bad with time, and my brain's always doesn't work the right way for some reason. But I want to say it was like middle of September. They posted something about a job position opening up, and I thought, oh my God, like this is perfect. Like, so I reached out. I don't even think I sent them my resume right away. I just said, look, I'm going to school for sports and rec management. I love sports. I've heard a lot of great things about your place. I'd really love to work there. So she asked me for a resume after that. So I sent her one and went in for an interview, and luckily ended up getting a job here in Sarnia. There's a picture of them, their simulators. So there's 4 simulators in there. It's located at the old Micor Sports, 49 Finch Drive here in Sarnia. Check it out, because if you haven't yet, it's one of the most incredible places here in Sarnia. I know with me falling in love with golf the way I did this summer and discovering this place, and not only getting a job there, but getting the opportunity to go and play there as much as I did, I had a lot of fun. And thanks so much to Paul and Ange, who are the owners. Paul is actually a PGA, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but a golf pro, Class A. And it's a really cool, I know it's something that's hard to get. So I'm hoping that I can have Paul on the show and we could talk about it sometime. And I know he's got a lot of really cool golf stories too. So that's something I'd be interested in talking about on the Chem Valley show. So thanks so much to them for giving me that opportunity. That's something else that was awesome, was a blessing in 2020 for me, because for a while there, I didn't know what I was going to do. Obviously, just being in school. Me and Katie actually got a new place in June of this year, and we've been absolutely loving it. So yeah, I didn't really know what I was going to do for work, and finding that place, like I said, was an absolute blessing. And I love working for them. I'm also working for Ange. She has a company that she runs called Tailored Rooms. And it's like a staging business for real estate agents. It's something actually a lot of fun. And I have experience from the past working at Leon's. So I think I was a perfect candidate, and ended up working at both places. And yeah, I've been having a lot of fun so far working for them. So going into 2021, my number one goal is obviously to achieve better grades. I didn't have bad grades, and I think I kind of beat myself up over that this year, and I think that was probably not a good thing for it being my first time back in school, like in a very long time. I was really hard on myself, and maybe it was a good thing, maybe it was a bad thing, but yeah, I just want to get better grades and not have to be at the end of the semester worrying about one or two assignments making or breaking me, because I think if I just stay ahead of myself and stay on top of things, I'll have no problem with that. And it'll be a really good second semester, winter term, I should say. Yeah. So, and I'll get to enjoy the summer too, which is something I'm looking forward to. Is kind of just, I don't know if I'm going to have the summer off or I'm going to get a job for the summer. We'll see. Hopefully maybe this will take off and I can just do this full time. But yeah. I want to grow all my social media accounts as much as I can, obviously, for the purpose of this. And my goal with this really is just I want to network, obviously, and talk to different people. I got a list actually somewhere of people who I want to talk to this year, like some really cool guests that I'd love to have on the show. Is it here? Yeah, so like people who I have confirmed. Corey James Mitchell, Joe Rocca. I just talked to James Grant today. He's the basketball coach for the Lambton Lions basketball team. So I'm looking forward to, and again, that's somebody from the past who I bat boyed. I think I was a young kid and he was coaching the St. Pat's Fighting Irish baseball team. And I was just I hung around the baseball diamond as a kid. And somehow I got the opportunity. I think I asked if I could bat boy their team and ended up bat boying their team. And I think they won the championship that year. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to James and reconnecting again. That'll be really fun. Some like names, like, I don't know if these will be able to happen. And like maybe one of my teachers will be able to help me with this. Like someone like Michael Marinero or Kyle Jackson or Derek Druin or Eric Etheridge is somebody who I'd love to talk to. I talked a lot with him when he actually rehearsed at the station when I worked there. So I would let him in sometimes just because I lived like 2 blocks down. Stu would leave me the keys and I'd let them in sometimes to go do their rehearsal. And so he'd be somebody who I'd love to talk to because I know he's doing a ton of amazing things now. And Sarnia is really proud of everything he's done. Aaron Brand, Stuart Manchie, actually, my boss at the station. I'd really love to have a conversation with him because we had a lot of crazy stories I think we could share on air, and it would be a really fun episode, I think, as well. Tyson Dukes, and I'm just going to actually try to keep adding to this list. There's a bunch more like UFC fighters and stuff that I want to interview. Locally, there's a bunch more that I want to interview, but right now I'm just trying to have as much fun as I can with this. Who knows, maybe it'll lead to a job for me one day, or maybe it'll lead to just meeting someone new who might lead to my next job, or might lead to me joining another team. Or I'm just hoping to make as many connections as I can through this show. And again, I appreciate all the support and love so far I've gotten. If you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, check us out on Twitch, and on Facebook. I'm usually just posting stuff through the Chem Valley Wrestling page. I don't know if I'm going to switch that over and do a separate like Chem Valley show page. I might do that eventually, but right now I'm just having fun with things, trying to figure out all this social media and I guess editing stuff. Like something else I want to do in 2021 is maybe put together like a weekly vlog. For the last year and a half, I want to say, I've watched a lot of like YouTubers for some reason. Like I'm really drawn to watching videos that other people produce, and I've enjoyed it. So that's kind of a goal for me. And as far as like followers and stuff go, like it would be nice to get like, I think I'm at like 225 right now on Instagram. It'd be nice to get to like 1,500 on Instagram, and YouTube, get like 1,000 subscribers. My Twitter is really weak. I know like I only have like 50 followers on Twitter. So if you could follow me on Twitter, that would be hugely appreciated. And any support, obviously, just sharing a video or watching a video even means more to me than liking or sharing or subscribing or any of that, just because like if you're watching my stuff, hey, I appreciate you, and I can't tell you how much it means to me. So I think that's all I got for today. I have another episode tonight to do with Brian White, so check it out here on the Chem Valley Show YouTube page. Have a great day. Happy New Year.